All right, sorry about the pause in the action. I forgot to post to Instagram that I was starting the Colorado Trail, and so I had to backtrack all the way to the start again. That's what you get on being that's what you get for being sleep deprived and driving 18 hours in 2 days. All right, so here's the pipes, and we're gonna go around the bend to the right and then bend to the left, and then we will be at the river. Well, you can kind of, it's right down there. You can kind of see it, just barely, but it's gonna open up right over here, and then you'll really be able to see it. There you go. All right, that is the South Platte River. And so we're just gonna follow the river for the first like 6 miles. So the first 6.8 miles of the Colorado Trail is Waterton Canyon recreational area. So it's just this dirt gravel fire access road, power company access road, water company access road, and then we'll get down to the single track, and it's nice. It's just a gentle climb of like 5% grade. But there's plenty of hike on segment 1, especially so starting altitude is on the Colorado Trail segment 1 is about 5,600 feet. We're gonna get up to, I think, about 7,800 feet. It's 16.8 miles for segment 1 with about 2,800 feet of climbing. There's 2 climbs. The first climb is the easier of the 2, and it's about, I don't know, maybe a third of the length of the second climb. The first climb doesn't have a lot of rocks on it. The second climb does. That's where the hike like really gets going. All right, let's take a look at the river. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. My brain just isn't functioning at full peak performance. Sleep deprivation and too much driving, man. So we'll see if I survive segment 1 today. I will. Just no crashies. That's the goal. We got plenty of time to make it to the end of segment 1 before it gets dark. Oh, it's so nice and green. Every time I do the Colorado Trail, I come 2-3 weeks earlier. First time I did it 3 years ago, it was middle of July, 100-degree heat wave. So like, all right, I'll go a little bit earlier, try to beat the heat. 2 years ago, went like the last week in June, 100-degree heat wave. And here I am, middle of June, and it's gonna be in the 90s for the next couple of days. It's supposed to drop down into the high 80s. But by the end of day 4, I'll be up to altitude, you know, around that 10,000 foot mark. So it'll be cooler then. And I like to come earlier in the season because you get all the green. And once we get to segment 6, Kenosha Pass, Georgia Pass, you know, that's really when the beauty of the Colorado Trail starts. A lot of wildflowers, and you're up and above 10,000 feet at that point for pretty much the whole way. And I like coming earlier too because you get maximum hours of daylight too. And I'm trying to like beat the crowds before the summer crowds really start come, you know, beginning of July. And a lot of people do it in like August into September, but by that time everything's turning brown. Water sources are becoming more scarce because they're drying up. This winter, Colorado had a very dry winter, very dry. And when you come earlier too, you get better pickings of the campsites. I'm trying to stay to the left so you can get to see the Platte River while we make our way up to the mountain there. The first of many to climb. And I like starting, you know, early in the week, a work week. It's less crowded. Come on the weekends, and this Waterton Canyon is packed with people. So yeah, if you're planning on driving to do the Colorado Trail, like, do what I did. Park you park your vehicle at Durango Airport in extended stay parking, because Durango is one of the two ends of the Colorado Trail, and get a rental car from Avis, and then drive the rental car to the Avis location here in Littleton. It's just like 10 miles away. So this morning, you know, I drove from Durango to here, dropped off the rental car, loaded all my bike bags and stuff onto the bike, and rode the 10 miles on the pavement to get to the trailhead here. I mean, it's not a bad ride. You're on like a highway that's 55 miles an hour speed limit, but there's a good shoulder. There's not like a designated bike lane, but there is a very big shoulder that's striped off. So I don't like riding on roads. If I have to get on roads, I like being up on the sidewalk. There's really no sidewalk. I mean, the first like mile or two there is, because you're like in downtown, so to speak, Littleton, in residential and, you know, shopping areas and stuff like that. But as you get closer to Waterton Canyon, that goes away, and then there's no sidewalk, but there is that good shoulder. So I feel totally safe on it. And then you ride the Colorado Trail all the way to Durango, and then your vehicle is waiting for you at Durango Airport. When I get to Durango and get my hotel room again, I'm gonna see if I can get an Uber or a Lyft back to the airport, because it's like I think it's like a 15-mile, 18-mile from my hotel room. I stay at the Baymont by Wyndham Hotel. I've stayed there every time. I like it. It's not crazy expensive, but it's not cheap either. It's just like a good price, like, you know, a little bit over $100 a night, $125 a night. And there's like a grocery store right across the street. There's some restaurants within walking distance. So I always stay there. There is another hotel that's a little bit closer. I think it's like a Holiday Inn or something like that, but it's a more pricey hotel to stay at. So the reason I like filming the entire ride from beginning to end is so you get the full picture of what these trails are like, in case you want to do it and you can better prepare yourself. Or maybe you would like to do these trails but you are unable to for one reason or another. So this is the next best thing when you're at home on your treadmill or your stationary bike, or maybe you're just sitting on the couch with a beer or a joint eating Cocoa Pebbles. How you doing, brother? And obviously I have my own selfish reasons. When I'm too old to be able to do these trails, you know, I can relive the memories with a big smile on my face. This is definitely type 2 fun. So it's extremely challenging. And yes, it's fun, but there's a lot of suffer too. So type 2 fun. And so I can look back with fond memories with a smile on my face and pat myself on the back for a job well done. All right, we're getting to the dam. There's the dam. Waterton Dam. And I am on Instagram too. Same channel name as this YouTube channel. So I like to post pictures along each segment whenever I have cell phone service. Yeah, that's why I had to backtrack, you know, 5 minutes or however long it was, because I had no cell phone service at that point. So I had to go all the way back to the starting. Yeah, you definitely don't want to waste miles by making wrong turns and stuff like that, because you're going to be doing a lot of miles. So I recommend, you know, you get the Colorado Trail data book. It's just a little small handheld little paperback that gives you all the information that you need to prepare for each segment and to navigate. Cool thing about the Colorado Trail is it's so well marked. It's hard to get lost, but it still can happen, especially if you're, you know, riding at night and stuff. So you can go to bikepacking.com and download the Colorado Trail map onto your phone, and you can load it onto your bike computer. I also recommend getting the Ride with GPS app, because that's actually the app that is used on bikepacking.com for the Colorado Trail map. And then the Colorado Trail Foundation who is responsible for the trail maintenance, they actually have their own app. So I recommend getting that as well. So that way, if one's not working, you have another one. Worst case scenario, you have the data book. I'm looking forward to getting into the forest because it is hot. You know, it's pushing 90 degrees right now. And the camera does not like heat. And it does not like extreme cold either. So the batteries will overheat when it gets above 90 degrees if you're not like moving quick enough for wind to kind of keep it cool down. Oh, it's actually nice and cool right here. Wow, the temperature just dropped like at least 10 degrees. All right, that was just my Wahoo Element Roam beeping, telling me to climb. We're gonna start climbing a little bit. Just gradual. Let's see, what am I at right now? We are at, yeah, 5,700 feet. We've gone 4 miles. I think like the first 6 miles is pretty chill, and then, yeah, that last mile before, half a mile before the single track starts, it'll start getting steeper up to like I think like a 10% incline. But yeah, coming from sea level where I live, like it's like, I compare it to this. If I was back at home and I had my Colorado Trail bike packing set up with all this extra weight on, and I did not eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the following day I went and rode the hardest trail where I live, that's what your body feels like right now. You just don't have that power and endurance that you normally do. You don't have that raw torque gear power, and you burn out a lot quicker. Like you'll just be pedaling or hiking your bike and your legs just stop working. So then you have to stop, let the blood and oxygen get back in your muscles and your legs, and then start going again. And then your legs will stop working and you got to stop, and you just keep repeating that over and over and over. All right, here's the bridge. Usually past this is where you start seeing the bighorn sheep. So I think I'm just gonna let you guys and gals enjoy the sights and sounds, and I'll shut up for a while until we get to the single track. All right, enjoy.